Okay, hi, I'm back. Oh wait, hang on. Let me get rid of this text. Boop. Oh shit. Whoops. Hang on. I know what I'm doing at all times. Okay, and we're back. Now we're back. We're back now. I was like, man, it is like really good to like just do it one chapter at a time, because they're like seem to be perfectly timed out or whatever. But like I can't leave my boy hanging like that. We got to keep going at least for a little bit. Yeah. Because I mean, he just decked a guy. It's not like he was seriously hurt or anything, I think. Probably, maybe, I don't know. Bells tolled over the city, announcing the end of curfew, the start of a new day for the city at large, but the last for a poor, misplaced buck. And Adder is dead now. Did you guys like the Hayseed night? I liked it. I thought it was great. Oh, but let's leave Adder's story suspended for a moment. Get it? Suspended? Do you get it? And take a step back. A narrative, metafictional step back, not a temporal or a physical one. At this point, I hope you may have realized that my version of the story of the Knight of the Upperfield is much more about the people in Adder's life than it is about the boy himself. And that it is sorely lacking in knights. And not only knights, no. Another essential archetype in a chivalrous legend such as his was missing: the princess. I made so many horrible puns in this one. So many. Oh, baby, I'm ready for them. It killed me the other night with Sean's like, what would happen if he were to take his other eye? He'd be no idea. Like, I fucking died. She'd been missing for a moon now, even though Adder knew her location with pinpoint accuracy. Fortunately for Adder's as yet unwritten destiny, nobility tends to aggregate and grow together, much like certain types of fungi. Not far from the scaffold, in a lonely cell by the entrance to the city's guard's keep, an imprisoned princess eagerly awaited her rescue. The legitimacy of her imprisonment would be at the very least disputable. And though the title of princess had been imposed upon her, she aspired to be much more. Expecting a knightly rescue was, however, a matter of honor at this point. I wouldn't dare say what kind of matter headbutting a dungeon wall over and over was, however.
I'm going to slap him. I'm going to saw his horns off with a spoon. I'm going to make a skirt out of his cape and burn this place to the ground and make soup with his roasted...
Oh my god.
Ah, Sir Askadath. Finally.
Wait, did she just say Askadath?
Yeah, she did. Don't say another word until we're done here.
I'm afraid that Sir Askadath is currently indisposed, my son. He has personally tasked me with the crucial mission of escorting the Jasif back to the bordello whence she came.
Excuse me? Did I hear you wrong? Or are you really saying that he's had me waiting a whole night in the dungeon, like some common thief, just to have his butler fetch me without any further explanation?
Yes.
Affirmative, my son.
So what exactly does he expect me to do? Go back empty-handed after spending the whole night out? I can't leave without my payment.
Then by all means stay, my son. I will ask Sir Askadath to come at his earliest.
I have waited enough. You will take me to him, or I will have you front the payment on his behalf.
I don't appreciate your implications, my son. I am a loyal steward. I could never... Sir Askadath? Sir, if you have finished polishing your horns, there is a matter that requires your undivided attention.
Hush! I'm brooding!
Yeah, that's a mood.
I realize how important that must be to you, sir. But if I could have a moment of your time.
Oh yeah, who's Bonnet? Yes, I'm gonna look up the credits every time. Kieran Flitton. Huh. There's so many people in this project I don't know. It's incredible. Like, all this talent out here.
I said no interruptions, damn it! It takes me out of my dramatic.
Oh my god. The door flew open almost immediately. I can't get over his jaw and his muscles. Look at the size of this absolute unit. There stood a deer with a jaw and chest with such a volume that it would seem the gods saved some extra mass for him when all of Deerkin was made. As I said, an absolute unit. His huge horns were so gleamy and well kept that one could mistake them for marble. His arms were the size of melons. This deer-shaped force of nature tried his level best not to look terrified upon seeing the gazelle stomping towards him. There is something in my eye. Help.
Oh, do my eyes deceive me? Could this truly be the sun of my skies, the star of my firmament, the light of my...
Don't even bother.
Jeremy, please! It's your eye. Get the fuck out of here, Jeremy. Actually, don't. You can stay.
Babe, please don't tell me you're truly willing to throw a tantrum over something as insipid as a short interlude in the dungeon.
Short? It was dark out when you threw me in jail. 6 hours have passed and you said it would take you a minute.
In his defense, what is time?
6 minutes, 6 hours, what does it
right?
matter? I'm paying for your company all the same.
Is that all I am to you after all? A dispensable whore? Then what would that make you, Sir Askadath?
Watch that tongue, woman! You are making me look bad in front of my staff.
My opinion of you remains unchanged, sir.
Okay, I love this guy.
Oh, so I'm not discreet enough for you, am I? Would you have me lower my voice, or hide my horns, perhaps? Should I wrap my tail around my waist and dye my hair so as not to stand out around you? Have you forgotten who you are talking to, Sir Askadath?
Of course not! How could I ever forget? Jasif, Princess of the Sands, most fragrant flower, love of my life, fire of my...
A mere step forward sounded mightier than any drum.
Could it be then that a knight such as yourself can give orders to royalty now? Or have those polished antlers of yours grown so large that you can no longer see who you are addressing? Are you daft? Or are you just frozen to your sad, wretched core?
Damn. No one missed the sound Alber's throat made as Sep's nose touched his.
Bammit! Fetch a barrel of my finest wine from the cellar and have it delivered to the Desert Rose at once! I want you to personally make sure that it is most excellent.
Gladly, sir.
Bahamut scuttled out of the captain's office, leaving the couple alone at last. The burly deer breathed so deeply that it would seem his heart was about to collapse at any moment, but his short legs resisted quite well.
Will that be enough?
Of course not. Give me a portion of the assignation for Miss Rochelle as an added compensation. And pray I don't tell her I had to spend the night alone in the dungeon. Though I'm sure she'll find out sooner or later on her own, as usual.
Sep made to leave, knowing that her righteous fury could only take her so far. A strong hand pulled on hers, making her turn once more.
Is that a tear I spy on your face?
I would never cry for you.
Baka.
Blast me and all my luck! Oh, how cruel have I been without realizing so. The poison in your tongue was not without reason. Hide behind your lies all you wish. I don't deserve your honesty. I doubted my love for you at a match, but I now see you missed me just as much. Words alone cannot express the pain I feel, my princess. I cannot undo my carelessness, but I can at least attempt to better myself. Please, show me how to please you.
I haven't looked him up yet either, actually. Hang on. I got ahead of myself. Elbar is Cameron Watson.
How about an explanation? Now.
Elbar's cape flew most dramatically, as he turned away from Sep. Silence followed after, for the knight had to heft his heavy thoughts before speaking.
A tragedy befell my house last night. Thamar's heir lies limply on his bed, his face swollen, purple and red, nearly as broken as his spectacles, as lifeless as his right arm. I feel as if the gods were playing an encore of my mistakes on him!
Oh dear. That's horrible. What happened?
What happened indeed? I cannot begin to fathom why my liege would rather spend his time in a tavern in the slums among society's slag instead of joining me for a drink in my palace. But that's not the matter at hand, is it?
See,
Two
he's
men
fine.
remained on the scene when my guards arrived. One was taken to his bed and one to me. All I know after the deed is that the very first moment I saw that wretched, one-eyed scoundrel, I could tell he would be the mastermind behind this attack.
There was an abundance of one-eyed people in Heirloom, though not as many as there could be, considering how much Deer enjoyed butting heads, right? I was kind of thinking about that earlier. Sep knew this. She knew that it could have been anyone else. But the only giant tree man in the dungeon had been chanting an acquaintance's name over and over just hours before.
One-eyed scoundrel?
I hesitate to call that creature a deer. Taller than a palm tree, but with antlers short as a fawn's. He would seem a skeleton come alive if it weren't for his horrifyingly gigantic hands. Gross and gibbous, surely deformed by the atrocities he's committed with them.
Also, he's a very good boy.
And it's not just his body that's twisted, but his mind. He could have fled, but no! That miscreant preferred to slander the name of my house with treacherous fabrications, claiming he was protecting the honor of some albino broad from Burbeth.
Elbar's remark was not without reason. Sep knew this too, of course.
That doesn't sound like Burbeth? No. Did I tell you about the lengthy conversation I had with him when you brought him to the Desert Rose? He talked at large about my great figure.
Which is
and
great.
His fondness for dissecting corpses. Do you think there's a link between the two?
Oh, don't mind his rambling. He's just awkward and a little quirky, that's all. It's all those dusty books they feed him in the academy. They cloud up his brain and his glasses. My liege can't tell a woman apart from a scholar anymore.
See?
Right. Well, as you well said, I certainly can't imagine him having any lowly impulses towards anything beyond his alembic. And yet...
Elbar's ears perked up as Sep mouthed the last sentence. She was venturing into some truly dangerous territory.
Doesn't the case sound a little incomplete to you, Sir Askadath? I feel like there's a key piece missing somewhere. Not even a roe would be thick-skulled enough to attack a noble without a reason.
A reason? A reason? What reason could anyone have to attack a crippled scholar? Such prurient curiosities will got my brother in this situation in the first place, Jasif. Do not spare any sympathies for that lowlife or his kid.
Kemi Burbeth, apologist number one. I mean, he's curious. Can't fault a guy for his curiosity, though, you know, he did go too far, but, you know.
His kin? Oh, of course. course. That's what this is really about, isn't it? Showing those reprobates how to deal with their betters. Who would keep them from trampling Macadar saplings and stealing offerings otherwise?
Yes, you understand now! They may look and sound dumb, but their upbringing makes them deceptively cunning.
Cunning enough to make you trust them with your biggest secret, only to abandon you when they learn more than they can handle.
That's oddly specific, but yes! Don't ever let your magnanimity cloud your judgment, my princess. Those hoodlums barely count as sentient beings.
Wow, excuse you.
You really have some opinions on Rose, don't you?
What? No! Bite that sword, Jasif! I was talking about peasants, not yellow deer.
Oh, okay. Well,
I
that
don't
makes
care
it
what they look
cool.
like on the outside, Barhan or Ekain, or anything in between. All that matters is that they are the same on the inside. They're filthy, stinky insides. Think of all the diseases they carry. Fleas, plagues, illiteracy. Gods, I feel dirty just thinking about all the farmers that still roam this city at large.
Still.
You killed him?
I tried to do so myself, yes. But no matter how much I insisted that erasing such vileness from Dakna is my responsibility, Eargrab wouldn't shut up about breaking protocol if I so much as drew my sword.
Like a good dad. What did I walk in on? Well, we were in jail, and now we're gonna die.
Is he dead or alive then?
See for yourself.
Elbar pointed towards one of the arrow loops on the wall, leaving the gazelle completely frozen on the spot for the moment. What was the appropriate reply to such an off-putting offer? What kind of horror did he intend to show her? A dormant sense of morbid curiosity won the battle against fear and respect. She advanced toward the window looking over the plaza. And there we are. Adderson, son of Grafaz, standing on the scaffold with a noose on his neck and his hands tied behind his back. The executioner stood grimly beside him, exchanging words that Sep couldn't hear no matter how much she strained her ears. In the time it took Sep to blink, and doubt if watching this horrifying scene was actually a good idea, the executioner pulled a lever, opening a trap door beneath Adder's feet. The way our protagonist fell was so simple and to the point that there was a certain elegance to it, magnificence that Sep would never appreciate, for she took both hands to her face instinctively, afraid she may scream in unison. Look at the rough outline of the executioner above him or whatever. He's just like, meh. And so spoke Adder as the rope finally reached the extent of its length.
Ow! Ow!
Is it because he's too tall?
Whoa! That didn't hurt half as much as I thought it would. Alrighty then. Which way to my next life?
Because that would be hilarious. The whole plaza froze up. No one dared move or say a word. It seemed as if a spell had been cast on the audience. Adder took notice of their expectant gazes, far too apprehensive to be looking at a fresh corpse, and so he turned his face down at the astonishing speed of 1 degree per second. His hooves were resting solidly on the ground. The threadbare noose, irritating his ridiculously long neck, had merely traveled from his collarbone to the base of his jaw, loosened by his hunched spine along the way. Sep heaved the longest sigh within her hands, feeling her heart beat once more for the first time in an eternity. The whole world mirrored her, finally set into motion by her reaction. Executioner, more like Mexecutioner. Hey, Steel, what's up?
Oh, come on, not again!
The crowd laughed and cheered at his reaction, chanting for his release.
Did you see that? This is the 3rd time that it happens. The 3rd! That rube is sturdier than a damn Macadar. I've never seen anyone survive being hanged thrice.
What a clown. He's loving the attention.
Is he? Oh, curse that boy and all his lineage! What point is there to a public execution
This is
if the
ridiculous.
prisoner isn't even scared anymore? Tell me, what am I supposed to do with a man that refuses to die and that I'm not allowed to kill?
Sepp looked for an answer among the agitated audience, who were now beginning to scream insults at the guards as they approached Adder.
A trial, perhaps?
So, Elbar is actually my ancestor? What? But that can't be! Adder has to be him!
Oi, Ria, what's up? Calm down, kid. By that logic, Burbith would be your ancestor too.
Burbith is my ancestor?
Oof. Look, I know this is kind of important to you, blood sacks, but we don't have time to spare. If my hunch is right, you have nothing to worry about. It's simply a matter of a character mix-up over the years to simplify the story.
But what if you're wrong?
Trying to do some research on hairstyles. Need to see what the heck I want to get my hair to look like. I want to cut all of my hair off. I'm not gonna lie. You can freak out or you can write, Lynn.
You underestimate me. I can freak out while I write, and I fully intend to do so until this matter is clarified.
Have fun then.
Adder! How are you hanging, lad? I'm sorry I couldn't make
Maxie.
it in time for the third pass, but here's a little something to make up for it.
Oh, great! You brought water.
Well, I thought you'd be parched from screaming so much. No worries, though. We're almost done here.
Oh my god. Who's the Hulk Grinch? This is Tree Dad. Grab. He's the best.
I just heard back from the executioner, and he's pretty sure he found the right noose for your neck this time. You know what they say, fourth time's the charm.
It's making me think of the executioner from Men in Tights. It's just like, what are you, a size 16?
I don't want to die.
There, drink up. Don't let a little fear of mortality get your spirits down, boy. You're taking the execution like a champ. Trust me, you should have seen how ridiculous the dare before you looked as he fell. You're a natural at this.
Oh my god, what is happening?
What the heck are you even doing here, Grab? You don't want to see me die that bad.
What? No! Don't even think that for a second, Adder. I love you. And I know how much death means to you, mortal, so I just figured I would keep you hydrated instead of letting you wilt all alone. In front of the audience.
See, he cares. Thanks, Dad.
So you ain't gonna do nothing at all. That it?
Hey, I've done plenty. I convinced Elbar to skip the torture and make your death as physically painless as possible. Just a little whoosh and a crack, and that's it. End of story. It won't hurt half as bad as the time Aina squeezed a potato out of your neck, I promise.
What?
Hey, boss! Oh, that's right. Darn it, it's about time to work. Now, I gotta tell her I can't make it
Oh
tonight.
my god, this
You know
is
if
so
she's headed off to the
ridiculous.
forge yet? I don't want her seeing me like this.
That, my boy, is precisely why we need to get this over and done with. I don't want to imagine what would happen if she stumbled upon your body hanging in front of the whole plaza.
I love this so much. What is happening?
So get me the hay out of here! Ain't that what friends are supposed to do?
Justice should never distinguish between a stranger and a friend. I would never forgive myself if I gave someone preferential treatment just because I cared for them. You wouldn't want that either, right?
Of course I would! Knights are supposed to uphold justice and truth and fairness and all that crap you sold me on, but Lord Snotty Snout here's gone and sent me straight to the gallows for fighting off a creep just because he got a fancy name.
And also, he's fine.
That look anything like justice to you?
No, Adder. And that's precisely why I need Aina by my side until the storm comes.
All right, noose lined up. Bring that poor sod over here.
Be a good boy now and pass on calmly to your next life, okay? Whoever and wherever you are reborn, you'll have a better life than this. I'll make sure of it personally.
Well, I mean, he's really selling me on this dying thing. Oh yeah, you can go ahead and put a link too, if you want. To the Steam page. We don't have a link bot here that like catches it. So I'm just like, just don't share porn. Adder dragged his feet towards the platform once more, climbing the steps with feet heavier than concrete. He steeled his heart in preparation for the overwhelming sight that awaited him. An excited crowd cheering and pumping fists. Sepp was right. Deep, deep inside Adder's mind, in a dark, unexplored corner of his heart, he was almost enjoying his last moments. Yes, the character design is big strong. Every character, so good. It was the first time so many people were paying attention to him. They were even being nice to him. Enamored with his hungry public, our dear Adder conceived a plan. He would scream, "Whee!" as he fell. Everyone would remember the boy that went, "Whee!" if the noose failed to kill him a fourth time. Perhaps the captain of the guard would take pity on him and grant him a pardon. He'd be the talk of the town. Even his heart's missing piece would surely hear about this new folk legend, Adder Neckstrong. Yes, sirree. But that was strictly a B-plan situation. The A-plan was just not falling.
Hold up. I ain't survived not one, not two, but 3 falls now. What a lucky number, am I right? The 3 must be on my side. That's gotta count for something.
Yes, you get a free axe to the neck if you make it to the 5th alive.
That's a good deal.
Bend your knees this time, will ya?
Do I get to say my last words?
You said them thrice already.
Yeah, but what if this is the one time I actually...
Oh no, he didn't get to go whee! The platform disappeared once more beneath Adder's feet, letting gravity do its bidding with the boy. Our protagonist was about to woo those congregated around him with his impressive bravado and mock death with his mind-boggling whee skills when he realized that something had fundamentally changed in his relationship with the noose. In the minutes since they'd last met, the rope had become a lot more attached to his neck. What they had went from a passing tryst to something much more tangible, real. The noose surrounded Adder's neck in a tight embrace and promised to never let him go as it pulled him back to its side. No!
Oh, now you've done it! Look at the poor thing! He's suffocating! This isn't what we agreed on at all! I was promised a swift death!
You know, the axe probably would have been a swift way to do it, and probably painless as long as it was a clean stroke.
Then go and snap his neck yourself. I've got other people to kill today.
Don't worry, Adder. I'll file a complaint in the city council later today.
Illigrab.
Your suffering shall be avenged.
Great.
Adder's most loyal fans started booing and insulting the executioner as he casually walked away. Those less devoted among the public simply decided to let it go and enjoy the usual harmless family fun provided by the gallows. Alas, this wasn't meant to be the last we'd hear from Adder. Where's the rest of Chapter 3 if not for this? Like a sun rising from the north, a pair of gleamy, polished antlers charged onto the scene at breakneck speed, or at hasty pace at the very least, to give the onlookers enough time to appreciate the magnificence of said rack. Insert rack joke here.
Ah, there you are, still alive and writhing. Gods, you are a far more bizarre sight up close than any nightmare my mind could have devised. Lowlier yet than the lowliest scum.
Elbar, can you at least have the decency to let the boy die in peace?
Right? I was about to say.
There's been a change of plans, Tree. Nobody is dying just yet. Gather the witnesses and pull the noose off this jester. We shall hold a public trial for him.
Okay. I mean, yes, of course. Color me leafless, Elbar.
Oh, guys.
This is a first for you. So, when and where should we hold the trial? Should I go ahead and call the Bards Guild to spread the news?
Guys.
Gods, no! What matter of nonsense are you spouting? The last thing I need is more beggars and ruffians loitering around. I demand we hold the trial right here, right now.
Guys.
So, we're keeping it small and personal, I see. Nice and quiet.
Illigrab.
No, seriously, do you understand how the concept of public trial works?
I just have to convince a bunch of peasants that I'm not some sort of despotic tyrant, right? That's a cinch, as the commoners say.
Oh, fantastic.
Illigrab.
Why don't you go ahead and convince them that I'm not a tree while you're at it? I'm sure you'll... Oh, sorry, lad. I forgot I wasn't dealing with Red for a second there.
That, you know what? That's fair.
A loosening coming right up.
That's fair. Adder fell to the ground immediately. I'm amazed that he isn't, like, passed out. He took a hand to his neck as he tried to stand up, panting desperately for breath.
All right, babe, he's not dying anymore. There's nothing to be squeamish about now. You can come out.
How the hey? Adder thought as his legs tried and failed to separate him from the thin layer of dry mud covering the pavement. Does she always run into me when I'm dragging my face through the ground? His answer arrived in the shape of a sly smile and a discreet look of superiority.
Look alive, maggot! You are in the presence of royalty. This is Jasif of Bassacursed, heir to a kingdom forgotten by the ages. Know this, for it is by her magnanimity and her magnanimity alone that you haven't yet drawn your last breath.
I have to know if that line took multiple takes or not, because I would have definitely swallowed my own tongue trying to read. But her magnanimity, I'm not even gonna try.
Far too much credit, Sir Askadar. I simply didn't want to live with the death of this poor hayseed on my conscience.
Absolutely. Oh man. I was about to be like, this guy's godlike if he like nailed it in one take. Directing Cam to say magnanimity. Magnanimity. See? I can't even say it without slowing down. Yeah, but that was a really fun session.
Yes, well, it will be on my conscience if he doesn't die today. So don't keep your hopes up.
Ooh. Don't look at me like that, Sep. Our nearly reborn Boyd dared to look up again, only to find Seb's deep blue eyes pulling him closer like a magnet. What Adder first considered a product of his lonely imagination soon proved to be a very tangible reality. By her massive mags. Yeah, there you go. Trembling and bound to the ground under Elber's heavy hoof, as he was, he still couldn't peel his eyes off hers. Why is she here? No. How'd she find me? But why is she with him? 1,000 questions piled up in Adder's oxygenated brain. Wow, I don't know how to talk anymore. Trying to say magnanimity has completely short-circuited my brain, making it feel like his head was about to explode.
So many thoughts, and you can't even spare one miserable "thank you for saving my life"? Really? Where have you left your manners, Adder?
Her voice rang in his ears loud and clear, but Elbar remained none the wiser to her sharp words. The realization fell on Adder's mind like a boulder. His thoughts were no longer his alone.
I heard you! I heard that just now!
Don't you worry about a thing. The best thing about your character is she's super chilled. No need for magnanimity. I don't even think I can say that word at all.
So what? I want you dead! I can say that as many times as I want to. I do not need to hide my intentions from you. Do I? Do I, Eargrab?
You should at least pretend you're willing to give him a chance.
Gods have mercy! The trial hasn't even started and it's already driving me up a wall. Let's go, Jasif. This ordeal gets more and more infuriating by the minute.
Good luck with the trial, handsome. You're going to need it.
Well, I mean, I am guilty. We punched him.
What was that?
Oh, don't get jealous now. I just wanted to give him a little encouragement in his last moments, that's all. It's common courtesy in my line of work.
I would think it's far more common courtesy to make an exception with the man who attacked your fiancé's brother. Come on, my patience wears thin!
Sep shrugged her shoulders in a nonchalant way as she crossed her hands behind her back, marching with her characteristic strut a couple of steps behind Elbar. Adder could only watch haggardly as they disappeared among the crowd. A knife had been sunk into his heart, shaped like a word.
Oh, lad, you sure stumbled into a handful. Don't mind Jasif's little games. She's had a bit of a rough decade.
Yeah, I can understand.
Brother? Did he just say brother?
Oh, we're changing the topic? Great choice! I definitely didn't want to talk about her either. Brother indeed. Elbar here and your pal Burbith are the only recognized sons of the late Lord Thumar of Askadath.
Spicy.
May the three protect his estate where his sons will not.
Say what? How come nobody told me I was punching Lord Snotty-Snout's brother? Sweet mother of a boiled pea, no wonder he wanted me dead.
I love Illigrab, dude.
Pass me the noose. I'm gonna finish the job for him.
Oh no!
Leave that noose alone, lad. I don't know what's gotten into you all of a sudden, but digging up your sense of accountability won't solve anything now. Besides, I doubt Elbar resents you half as much as he claims to. You might have just done him the greatest favor of his life, after all.
What do you mean, favor?
Well, Elbar may be older and wear his family name with pride, but he's, suffice to say that Burbith is the heir to their household by blood right, even though he is widely considered a less than ideal candidate. Lack of horns and all, typical deer business. Once the retainers catch wind of what happened last night, however, well, the banished egomaniac may yet look like a reasonable choice compared to the feeble fawn who can't hold his own in a fight against a malnourished slum dweller. No offense, kid.
None taken.
I'd say I feel bad about Thumar's house, but that's what happens when you're more interested in making fawns than raising them.
Damn, Illigrab, let him live. Savage.
You take that back this instant! I ain't gonna stand by and hear you spit radish stew about Lord Thumar like it was no big deal. He was nothing like that, you hear me? You clearly didn't know the man.
And you did? What a grand concept! To think that you'd get to know a lord better in 2 decades than I could in 104 years. Tell me, Adder, when was the last time you visited his palace in Corbussuit?
Wow, I was saying that word wrong.
Never? Oh, I don't suppose you were pen pals then? Ah, of course. How could I forget Thumar's time in Jantharay? You may have just met him at his best. Old, sad, and remorseful, left to wither away in a fort on the other side of the world. But I sure hope you didn't, because that would have some ugly implications for a soldier.
I like how menacing you looked just then. Adder's somber expression finally put an end to Illigrab's retort. A life mediating in conflicts had turned Illigrab into a peaceful man that treated words with respect. He could measure them precisely and know how much distance they would travel if spoken. He knew that he'd gone a few leagues too far this time. Coming back would be a challenge.
Come on, Adder. It's just you and me here. You don't have to hide it anymore. This was all part of yet another one of your little far-fetched plans to become a knight. Am I right?
Give me that noose. We were just in the middle of a deep tryst and full relationship. I could use a hug from somebody who cares. That's good.
That ain't none of your darn business, Illigrab.
Ooh.
Ow. That's okay. You're still mad about the whole throwing you in prison thing, the execution, and I get it. Right. We still have to make sure that you don't die. I'd better go round up the witnesses. Here, keep the water.
Bye, Tree Dad. Eligrab hurriedly shuffled away from the scene, leaving Adder alone to contemplate his choices. Though alone would hardly be the correct word here. There was someone watching the roe deer 1,000 times more intently than any of the audience gathered around the gallows. Far up in the battlements of the walls that surrounded the bazaar, 2 purple gleams stalked his every move. The observer scurried through the shadows, trying to find the optimal route to sneak onto the scene. It couldn't be done haphazardly. A crowd was an enemy far too terrible. Just imagining that formless mass of ice sinking into her skin chilled her to the bone. Adder looked like he was hanging on just fine in any case. A mere rope in a 1-story fall wouldn't be enough to take out the deer she had chosen as her apprentice, with or without the goddamn giant tree man's help. Her eyes shifted towards a lonely guard posted toward the plaza in a long stretch of a rampart. Taking him out in a loud enough manner and throwing his body in the plaza for everyone to see would prove a perfect distraction. Oh, Aina, I love you. How to avoid killing him in the process, though, was the question Adder would have brought to her attention. To be fair, there would be others, such as, did he deserve that? Or, what about his family? But moral dilemmas were hard, and her personal censor didn't have to know. Silent feet advanced towards the guard. Our morally ambiguous assailant raised their hammer against her unsuspecting victim, poised to turn the guard's helmet inside out. The hammer struck with a soft thunk, crumpling the steel in such a way that made it look like tin. Aina took a couple of steps back as her thoughts began lurching against each other. It crumpled like tin because it was tin. Ah! Oh, it's Mr. Q! Oh, it's casual Mr. Q, yeah. Thanks for that resub. Man, I hate it when my helmet gets turned inside out, right? That's just the worst. How are you doing? There was only a smith in the whole city making a custom order on fake tin armors. With eyes wide as platters, she struck the helmet once again. And again. And again and again. She battered against him, and yet the guard refused to react to this brutal attack like he was supposed to. I got tired of being called I am. Wow, people did that? Weird. He didn't fall forward and plunge down into the plaza. He didn't crumple to the ground like a bedsheet. He didn't gasp or scream or bleed to death. He didn't even have the decency to turn around before speaking.
You must be the one called Aina.
Bezaktet. Ancient Bezaktet. Older yet than the one every Barhan once knew. Old and rough, with words that stumbled from ear to ear. Unsure if they were to be spoken, for they were directed at someone far too great for them. I was really thrown off, because for a second, he sounded like Sean. His words masked the sound of shuffled feet until it was too late. A newcomer lunged at her before she had a chance to turn and face them.
Aina must not reach the deer.
Definitely not a guard. Aina tried to jump back and forth, struggling to wiggle her head out of the powerful arm that had her in a headlock. The nature of her targets had never been a concern as far as she could think back, but her instinct told her it mattered now more than ever. Uh-oh. I think the stream just dipped. Is everybody okay? That's my friend Kenneth, and they have a really similar range. Yeah. I can tell that it's not exactly the same, but for a second I was like, whoa, Sean? No, that's not right. Kenneth. Well, I don't know if I'm don't know his name yet. It seems to be back. Okay. Sorry, I don't know. It just dipped for a second. Ooh. The creature restraining her threw its head back, and soon a high-pitched sound filled the air. To the uninitiated, it would have seemed nothing more fateful than a minstrel blowing a flute, or perhaps a sheet snapping against the wind. A dozen other guards, posted throughout the walls, turned their bright eyes toward her, but only one of them began moving. This is creepy as fuck.
You know, this wasn't exactly what I had in mind when I told my crew that I wanted our reunion to bowl you over. But you've got to admit that a hostile takeover is just our kind of surprise party.
Wow! Who's that, I wonder? I'm so excited! I haven't seen what she looks like for real. Aina's eyes twitched with every word. She looked up, finding a bright row of teeth above her.
Don't hold it against me, sis. We're just following orders.
That was so fucking
We
creepy.
will now commence the trial of one Chanthurian refugee, Addison, son of Gerfaz, hailing from the now extinct ravine of Olens. Before we start, I'd like to remind you all to mind the pitchforks, keep your fawns by your side at all times, and please refrain from throwing rocks.
I'm sorry, I'm still not over how cool that last scene was. I'm so excited.
Addison has been accused by Sir Elbar of Askadath, son of Thumar, of making an attempt on the life of his liege, Lord Burbeth of Askadath, son of Thumar, with whom he shares a father, but not a
Mother, half-brother, son of a maid! They don't need to know our goddamn life story! Get to the point already!
We weren't trying to kill him, just incapacitate him, probably, I think. I don't know. I don't think Adder was actually thinking.
Ahem! The Imperial Edict of Estates and Privileges dictates that any commoner accused of a crime against a noble house, be it in their own lands or in a foreign province, shall be disposed of as the highest ranking member of the affected family sees fit. In an auspicious and entirely unexpected subversion of this law, however, Sir Askadath has decided to hold a public trial for this peasant. Addison will be tried and judged instead by the city of Heirloom as a whole, against which he has committed the following additional crimes.
Uh-oh.
Unlicensed mendicancy, unlicensed smithery, unlicensed rivet peddling, street fighting, destruction of property, unlicensed reparation of said property, collaboration with a known Sevi, public drunkenness, and peeing on my leg that one time he was drunk.
Hillegrab, how could you?
How do you plead against these charges, Addison?
I plead
Innocent! Innocent!
Mr. Bard?
Oh, Hirab.
Oh, good gods, guard my toes! I didn't think I'd make it on time! I heard the words execution and one-eyed and I feared the worst! But you're here! You're fine! As fine as only you can be! Oh, my sweet cockeyed horn-eating ladder!
I can't get over how short Gyoff is.
Don't you dare worry me like that again, you dumbass! You are going to give me a heart attack one of these days!
Is that Larry Butts? You know what? Not far off.
Bard, I don't know what to say. Look, I really appreciate the thought, but,
Yes, you can apologize all you want later. We have more urgent matters to attend to now. Like your sudden bout of frontal nudity. Where did your stupid cape go? One night in jail and you're coming back with tattoos? Haven't I taught you anything at all?
Listen, it's 2020. If you're not living tits out, what are you doing?
Who's that scraggly singing poodoo capering around with a hat stuck to his magnificent horns, Eargrab?
Whoa. Illigrab contemplated his feet wistfully, combing the ground in search of the right words to define 30 years of history buried beneath the pavement. Gyoff keenly skipped this preamble.
I am no poodoo, my lord. I'm just short, which is sadder. My name is Gyoff, son of Egai. Yes, that Egai. And I am Addison's herald, manager, landlord, and lawyer.
Uh-oh.
Kindly ignore anything this lumbering psychopath may say about me, Sir Askadath. Not content with having my father killed unjustly and destroying my life, this backstabber seeks to get rid of my best friend as well.
Damn.
I'm only letting you stay with Adder if you promise to keep personal grudges and slandering comments to yourself, Gyoff. That goes for you too, Sir Askadath.
Adder decided to embrace the titty, as should we all. Illigrab wiggled his mustache nervously as he turned his face away. A perfect chance to strike! Gyoff didn't waste any time doing vocal warm-ups. Ooh, careful, take care of your throat and all that. He jumped straight into the scene, dragging Adder's oblong head under his armpit like a solid piece of evidence.
So what has this hapless backwater haven of peace done to deserve a sentence as ostentatious as attempted magnacide? Was the sight of his hunched neck and his deformed hands such offense on Sir Askadath's eyes that he longed for a quick death?
Adder punched Sir Askadath's brother, Lord Burbith of Askadath, in the face.
I need a second to review the case with the defendant. What were you thinking, you recalcitrant brute?
Nothing. I mean, I didn't do it just because I felt like it. That nutcase was obsessed with Dana. He wanted to prove she was a golem or something, so he pulled out a knife and he pointed it at me, so I ran away. But then he began cutting his robes, so...
He began cutting in his robes, so what? What? Dana is a golem, Adder. Nothing but a puppet made of metal and marble. She moves with magic. She could have eaten that knife if she wanted.
She could eat 9 for breakfast every day if she wanted, and I'd still stand up for her anyway, because she's the best boss in the world, and nothing else matters here.
I rest my case, ladies and gentlemen. This boy's wholesome and not guilty.
I go to bed thinking that you've finally gotten over your onanistic delusions, only to find that you've lost your mind overnight. You can fool yourself, but not me, Adder. I know you were just afraid of letting him show you what her insides look like.
I'm gonna show you what your insides look like if you don't shut your yapper this instant, Gyoff.
You dare threaten me? Me? The deer that took pity on you and fed you and found you a job when you didn't even have a corner to crawl into and die? The deer that loves you like only your mother could? You turn on me over a stupid piece of...
Are you done over there?
And I would do it again is not the best defense, but it is worth a shot. Yeah, I've seen worse arguments made. I've played all the Phoenix Wright games, basically. Well, not all of them. I haven't finished Spirit of Justice. But I get the gist of lawyering.
Oh, I'm done with this golem humper, all right?
Great! Then let us proceed with the testimony of the first eyewitness. Soonerall of the Lucky Bastard, if you please.
The old woman coyly walked towards the center of the growing circle of attendees. She nodded respectfully towards Illigrab, and then made a small curtsy with her apron.
Oh, 3. I saw it, sir. I did see it with my own eyes. I watched that blonde hornless fawn nearly get his snot punched off his face by Adder here, no less. Just when you think you've seen everything in this city.
Could you describe your relationship with the defendant, miss?
Oh, it's nothing like that, sir. Adder's just a client. One of my favorites, too. So poor, and yet so honest for lying as much as he does. Nothing like that little fiend Gyoff. Yes, Adder is such a good boy that not one day had I seen him mad. Not one.
See? We got witness testimony to the good boy. Is she carrying a pot of soup with her to trial? Well, yeah, you have to keep stirring it. If you let it sit, like, it's gonna ruin the whole thing. You need to gradually stir, you know?
Till last night, that is. Goes to show you never know with his ilk. Some screw must have come loose in that thick skull of his. I'm telling you, sir. It's all that butting heads business they do.
Huh? Did you hear that, peasants? This stag is clearly out of his wits. He's a danger to us all.
Yeah, you never know when you need your pilaf.
Elbar, wait until your turn to throw baseless accusations. Suneril, try to recall, please. Did Ada really explode all of a sudden? Or was there something else affecting his reaction?
Well, I didn't want to assume it would be something bad, but they did babble a little before that. Lots of fancy words thrown around. Scared the clients away from my tavern faster than Gyoff's music could. But I can't really help you there. It all flew right over my head.
I couldn't get half of what he was saying either, but that don't matter here, man. Tell him what happened then. Tell him how he digging and drew a sword at me.
Oh, there you go, making up tall tales again. That was no sword, 'twas just a knife. If only that stupid, stubborn Stumpy Horns hadn't...
Miss Barkeep's mouth, wow, opened and closed slowly as words failed to take form in her mind, much like mine.
Resume your testimony at once, woman. It happened last night, not last week.
Sir, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I forgot what the blonde boy did after that.
Miss Barkeep's voice became nothing but a whisper as she finished testifying. What?
A senile bartender and a ravenous street shrub gone mad? This trial couldn't get any more pointless if it tried. Are you all convinced now? Am I allowed to put an end to this torment?
Elbar, that's not how trials... Actually, never mind. Suneril was the only eyewitness, Burbeth is still knocked out, and Aina is thankfully...
Aina! The beast! That's it! That twat tried to hurt the beast! I told him not to! He should have listened to me! They'll come for us, you'll see! The beast will come! Isafik, save us from them!
Wow. I knew she was crazy to hire me, but this is a whole new level of insane.
What sort of deluded nonsense is this? She seemed fine a moment ago. You dastard! Have you paid this hag to speak in your defense?
When would I have had the time?
You call this a defense? She got far too many cobwebs in the attic if she really thinks boss is anything but a dyed dough. Y'all gonna get your eyes checked, darn it.
Who in the name of the Hatsa is this boss of yours now?
The beast. Oh, the beast.
Suneril, please! Come back to your senses! Beasts are nothing but old wives' tales in this day and age. There's no such thing as...
She's stirring the pot. Oh my god.
Illigrab! Have you seen that beast of mine?
Damn it. Illigrab's sigh could have been heard from a league away, deeper and louder than the gasps and screams shared by the mob around them. He gently pushed the barkeep aside after wordlessly reassuring her that everything would be okay.
Well, look what feat has decided to snake its screens out of its hole. You all know him, dear jury. The last merchant of Basaxarat. Just the calcified Farhan skeleton we needed in this freak show.
It really is like an Ace Attorney trial.
Put a padlock on that crap hole you call a mouth, or I'll stitch it shut for you, Yoff.
We just need an updated autopsy report and everything will be totally in line.
Try all you want to scare me with scatological threats, Furtok. I know deep down you are always happy to see your godson.
So happy that if I had eyes, I'd pull them out of my skull again just to
wow.
see you. Now move before I move you, scullion! The sun would rise and fall twice before I was done insulting you and that stuttering mumble crust you foisted on me.
I haven't heard an objection yet. Objection!
Can someone please tell me why in the name of Baitatse and all the gods both big and small are we letting a witch walk in like this?
Yeah, the merchant, he's not great, but he's great. Yeah, and his voice is especially great. He's the Illigrab and the merchant have the same voice actor.
This witch is the father of the absent eyewitness, Your Grace. So perhaps he can share a little insight on the whereabouts of the only creature in this kingdom that could have a shot at saving the defendant.
Didn't you just hear me, you earless squeaker? That's what I'd like to know. I don't care what that little vandal does with her knights, but she didn't even bother coming home to light at the forge today.
Please don't kill your throat. I suffer every time I direct him. Oh yeah, these kinds of voices can be real rough on your throat if you're not careful with like technique and warming up your voice and being careful. I feel for him. I hope he's okay.
Say what? Aina wouldn't skip a day of work if her life depended on it. Something's gotta have happened to her.
Calm down, you two. Look, Red, Aina and Adder went out for a drink last night at my expense. Your daughter had a bit of a wardrobe malfunction, so Adder was a gentleman and lent her his scarf. And then he decided to punch feudalism in the face while he was at it. Wherever she is, she's not here, so why don't you go and wait for her in the temple? I'm sure she'll come back sooner or later, as usual.
Not so fast, tumbleweed! I have some words for this daughter Solier first! How dare you take Aina to a watering hole without my permission?
Uh-oh.
If anything's happened to her, I'm gonna kick you so hard you'll have to wear your balls as a bow tie!
Well, darn, patron. You better hurry up or I ain't gonna have no next time around.
We're so dead.
What are you babbling about, you ragabash? Drag your sorry tail here and help me look for my daughter at once!
My boy Adderton would gladly accompany you on your deliria. But there's a minor snag in the way. They're trying to hang that ungrateful lump of barely cohesive musculature you call an apprentice.
And that's it?
That's right, they put him at the stake like on a regular basis.
What kind of excuse is that? These ruffians try to calcine me once a week, and you won't see me complaining!
See, Adder? This is why I like hanging out with Red. He never takes the whole execution thing personally.
You know, doesn't it count? I mean, we've been hanged, what, 3 times? Technically, you know, like the sentence was passed and we were punished. It's not, you know, just because we came out of it alive. It was, you know.
So now
Details.
you want me to look at him, huh?
This is what I get for trying to lighten up the mood.
The vibrating.
Are you all trying to make a fool out of me? Stop disrupting this trial at once! I swear by Bytet that if you don't put an end to this grotesque parade, I'll skip the protocol and cut this idiot's neck myself! What is he being accused of, anyway?
This is ridiculous.
Punching a noble in the face and working for you, mostly.
What? Are you listening to yourself? This idiot couldn't hit a Magadar in the ass with a reverb fiddle!
Oh my god, is the merchant about to save my ass? Because that would be hilarious.
Finally, someone with a lick of sense. So you agree there must be a logical explanation for his recent behavior, right? Such as magic, for example. Come on, Turtok. Why don't you tell the audience how you used your spooky, stuffy wizardry to cast a spell on Adder?
You really think if I still had the power to make anyone do anything, I'd let these dunces treat me like they do?
Elbar needs a vacation. Yeah, for real.
Oh, come on, old geezer, play along. It's not like they could try to kill you any more than they already do.
I'm not saying there wasn't magic. I'm saying I wasn't the one who did it.
The merchant raised one of his bony red fingers and pointed it towards the crowd.
I'd recognize the stench of a death if 1,000 leagues away. And this place reeks. Don't.
Well, what?
I'd
My bad.
recognize
I
the stench of
keep
a
hitting the
death
back
if
button by accident.
1,000 leagues away. And this place reeks. Don't try to hide yourself now.
After a few uncomfortable glances, the makeshift jury segged into 2 groups. At the end of this new path formed between them stood Elbar, flabbergasted. The captain of the guard needed a few more seconds to realize that this was not about him, and stepped sideways, revealing a red-haired gazelle standing rather conspicuously against the crowd.
Stop with your pretense, crone! You can't possibly be talking about her! This is my...
Sep?
What?
Who is this Sepp you speak of? This is Jasif, as the witch said, princess of...
Princess? Is that what you're going by?
Oh my
now?
god.
Whatever happened to calling yourself queen? Was the throne too small for Her Majesty's ass?
Hey, lay off the booty.
If you could eat all that envy, Giov, perhaps you would have a butt to sit on.
Whoa, hold up! Hold up right there till my head stops spinning! You two!
Unlike a certain orange parasite, I don't have time to sit around stuffing my face all day.
How do they...
Indulge in hedonism all you want. It is work that shapes the man. Though I guess round is a shape after all.
Big words for someone that looks like a deer sawn in half.
Funny you should mention
I love this.
size when you look like two gazelles glued together. Fat ass!
Amp!
I love this dynamic a lot. Adder had to grab onto Giof's tail to stop him from heading off into the audience, wielding his oud as a club.
Oh, I knew this would happen. Should have gotten rid of Geoff as soon as I saw him.
So you're telling me that you, the horn mushroom, and Jasif or Giuseppe or whoever she is now, knew each other? And you didn't breathe a word?
I thought it had become obvious when he accused me of having his father executed and ruining his life. Though, honestly, I shouldn't say accused. I am guilty. But so was Igai, I'm afraid. To think Geoff would go to such extents to fight for his father's name.
Yeah, Adder's just over there like, so can I go, or...
That's on him, not you, you sappy pine. That boy ruined his life betting on all the wrong numbers.
Don't feel bad, Illigrab. You hanged a murderer as far as anyone else is concerned.
This is why I ran away from home, you bunch of traitors.
Their heavy words vanished one by one until only silence remained.
I was supposed to obtain answers in this trial, damn it, not questions! Why are these people calling you Sepp over and over? Are you truly Jasif or not?
Of course I am. I was born a Jasif, and as Jasif I live. Though I was known as Omaseptut for a few years, before I was free to take the name I deserved. These two are merely family friends, bent on resisting inertia and clinging to the idea of the child I was. This changes nothing between us, Sir Askadath. My role remains the same. I am Jasif, brought from the brink of oblivion in the sands of Basaxarat to be raised in the Desert Rose, while I wait to build my kingdom anew.
Adder could be gone by now. Adder could be 1,000 miles away.
That's the story her mother used to tell us anyway.
Remember when Thar would call us over to have dinner with the whole family? Oh, those were the days.
Enough! Is there anyone in this trial who hasn't seen you in diapers?
Me. That'd be me. This buck's just as confused as the rest of y'all here.
Adder.
Yeah, I'm sure this bed swerver's seen her with far less than that.
Oof.
Now, Red, let's not jump to conclusions.
Adder is a proper southern deer and my best friend while at that. And the only girl he's ever dared fantasize with is that painted rock you call a daughter. I can vouch for the fact that he has never, ever in his life said anything about spending a night with a gazelle.
Giaf pulled Adder down by the noose.
And much less this one in particular. Right? Adder?
Still water runs deep, you little truant.
Oh, come on, patron. Look at me. I mean, listen to yourself. Who'd ever want a deformed buck like this one here? Hands like a shovel, face like a shoe. If you saw me naked, you'd know there's always someone better to do.
Speaking of better things to do, I'm sorry for interrupting our little dainty family reunion, but this will get long if we don't hurry it up. May I remind you all what we're trying to achieve here.
Man, this really is like an Ace Attorney trial.
Shut it, Plant! I wish to hear what this old Fogy has to say about those two first. I'll be brief.
Brief was the blow the red man delivered upon Adder's stomach. The boy curled over his cane, displaying the burns that ran across his chest and shoulders clearly for all to see.
She did this!
I'm sorry. I did what? Hit him with a cane? Order you to hit him for me? What are you accusing me of exactly?
Don't play dumb with me, Daughter of Thaw! You know fully well that you have branded my property as your own!
Employee. The word is employee when you're talking about a person. Already gone over this, Red. Indentured servitude was abolished 4 centuries ago.
Not in my temple! And you're lucky that's the only corner of the city where my edicts remain! If we were still in Basaxarat, I'd have this girl's palms splayed and all the windows in her house shut so she couldn't conjure a single ember again!
Okay, you're a little rude.
Conjure? As in spells?
Forget the Sanfer! Burn her! Burn them both!
Uh-oh.
Cease these senseless accusations at once!
Weren't you the one who wanted to bring magic into this? Here's your magic! This shameless broad has been pawing at my daughter's apprentice for quite a few moons now. She could have been using him for anything she wanted.
Red, I hope you realize you're making some very serious accusations. Lethally serious. Do you have any proof to accompany them?
You have the word of a Sephi, and that was worth more than 1,000 not back in the day.
I'm afraid we don't have any foreign exchange consultants around, so I'll need to see some factual evidence.
I mean, there's the handprints.
That much I can't do, old Fern. Be my eyes. What does the brand look like?
The mob became a single whispery unity, congregated around Illigrab. The tree man nodded and hummed every few seconds.
After much deliberation, the jury has decided that the brand seems to be, citing textually, a hen, either a young deer's, or a doe's, or a barhen's. You realize we can't condemn her with such a big error margin, correct?
You're telling me this clumsy scamp didn't even bother making a proper pattern? You idiots! Do the sensible thing and put her hands on the marks!
Adder and Sep exchanged a brief look.
I'd sooner take a bath in the sewers than touch that flea bag. Who knows where it's been?
Oh, yeah. I'm so full of fleas, they call me Adder the Prancing Deer. And you can catch mange just from looking at me. I got rabies, I got scabies, and don't even get me started on the eye.
Touch that filthy deer, Sep.
Color drained from Adder's face. He glanced at Sep desperately, but she had her eyes firmly set on Albar's.
As you wish. But all you will manage to prove is that he's starved for touch.
Sep advanced gracefully through the crowd, looking so keen as she walked that she could have fooled anyone into thinking she was taking a stroll through her garden instead of making her way towards Adder. His mind raced as she approached. He thought about what he would say to her if these were his last words. He thought about how much he wanted to headbutt all of his acquaintances. Actually, that was all he could think of at this point. Sep had, thankfully, far more poise than he did. She didn't spare a word for him when she reached him. She merely took a finger to her chin and ran her eyes up and down the deer in front of her, acting like she had never seen him up close before. Now would be a good time for an objection, it's true. Adder pretended to return the favor.
You like what you see, ma'am?
His fake confidence wavered at the end, breaking the effect ever so slightly. But it was enough. The public reacted with gasps and slight disgust, while Sep shot a knowing smile in his direction.
I'm afraid you're too tall for my taste. Or my reach, for that matter. If you could get on your knees for me.
Sep extended her hand toward his shoulders as Adder took a knee, leaving them staring at each other in some sort of ceremonial naming pose.
Think of something!
Adder heard Sep's plea clearly, but he seemed to be the only one. The buck nearly smiled to himself, knowing perfectly well what this meant. As far as the crowd was concerned, the gazelle remained perfectly calm and still, But in Adder's mind, she was speaking volumes, with only the slightest tilt of her head and the way she clasped his shoulder. Adder forgot that there was a world outside her eyes, feeling only the touch of her hands as her voice passed through his head. She sounded anxious and bidding, but for some reason he couldn't bring himself to care. Her warmth was all he needed. Booming, loud words began filling Adder's head, covering Sep's thoughts like a thick paste until it was impossible to hear her voice anymore. Adder tried to hold on to the whispers that remained, distraught, but it was for naught. He had to wake up and listen.
Uh-huh. What was that?
Adder only realized that Sep had been pinching his shoulder over and over and over and trying to get him to snap out of it. But once he saw Illigrab's doubtful face hovering above his.
I said that her hands seem to match, though again, that's hardly conclusive. It would be wrong to assume this young woman dabbles in sorcery just because she's a gazelle. We can't forget, however, that a known Sephi is accusing her of magically influencing Adder in some way. And it would seem that the boy is a little too, affected by her proximity.
That's a way of putting it.
To properly present his testimony.
I told you he looked desperate.
I will only ask this once, Umaseptut Jasif, daughter of Thar. What is your relationship with the accused?
Well, what do I say?
You're asking me?
No, Adder. All I'm asking you right now is to shut your snout and let the lady talk while you get your own ideas in order.
Build a bridge out of her? What?
All right.
Hi, Dee Dee.
Thinking with my mouth shut. Thinking for real hard. Hold up! Why are you leaving the excuses to me? You're the smart one here. You think of something.
Haven't you been paying attention? I was practically raised by these idiots. They'll know I'm lying.
Do you want to tell them the truth then?
That is not an option.
Uh-oh,
Miss
you're
Jasif,
in trouble.
If you please.
Then don't lie. Just make the truth prettier than it should be. That's what I do every time.
And how am I supposed to do that when I don't even know what the truth is?
This ain't no philosophical question. Just tell me, what are we supposed to be?
Nothing!
That's a lie. Give me a truth, but better.
Well, we are, what are we? 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 What are we?
So, what are we?
I'm a gazelle. You claim to be a deer, but honestly, I'm not all that convinced you aren't actually the personification of a tuber.
That's not too far off, actually.
No, I mean, what are we, as in, what's going on here? You know, you and me and you, you know?
Adder began making gestures that would have looked far more ridiculous than obscene with normal hands, never mind his. Oh, I totally lost track of the time. Adder is a potato, which is part of why I love him so much, because I'm also a potato. I actually have to go. I was like, is this a good place to earmark? I think so, since I just went back to this flashback. I was supposed to stream until 8, and now it's like 10 after. But I'm gonna come back later. But probably much later if I do. Yeah. So, I'm pretty sure Sean actually just went live with Doki Doki, which I'm gonna catch while I'm eating dinner. So I'm gonna host him if he is. Let me see. I love this game so much. Like, I knew I was gonna like it, but I really, really like it. I can't believe how ridiculous that trial was. He's going live in like 30 minutes. Oh, okay. Oh, damn, I was gonna throw you guys over to him. But I have to make sure that I haven't eaten anything today. So, Yes, that trial was incredible. And dude, and yeah, I'm so, you have no idea the joy that I felt like seeing that whole scene like put together. Ah! Guys, go get the Hayseed Night. Get it. Go. What are you doing? Go. It's on Steam. Go get it. It's totally worth it. And I will, if I come back, it'll be really, really late, and so maybe we'll do some Phasmo. If you guys want to play Phasmo with me. But I hate to leave you here like this, but I gotta go. Thank you for being here. And I love all your faces. And if I don't see you later, have a cool night. Bye!